So what I'm saying here is that we are against choking women until they pass out, and then we can't keep doing that with that word because we'll be out of this algorithm. So we're against all of that, and if that happened, that is unequivocally unacceptable, and I have no reason to believe it didn't happen. I didn't see it with my own eyes. I don't know what's going on. They've taken a lot of controversial stances and made a lot of people unhappy, and they've made a lot of enemies. But also, they live a weird life. They live together in one house in Romania, and God only knows what's going on. And they are very open about the idea that they kind of like a harem. Like a bunch of different women there, and women are kind of, in their mind, women are more property than they are people. They've taken a lot of controversial stances and made a lot of people unhappy, and they've made a lot of enemies. But also, they live a weird life. They live together in one house in Romania, and God only knows what's going on. And they are very open about the idea that they're kind of like a harem. They're like a bunch of different women there, and women are kind of, in their mind, women are more property than they are people. Cordial, and I thought they were dignified.
As I'm sure you're well aware by now, Andrew Tate has been arrested in Florida for extradition to England to face charges of rape and more. So Tim Dillon decided to talk about his old friend Andrew Tate on his podcast, The Tim Dillon Show, and I gotta be honest, it sounded like he was still covering for Andrew and making excuses. In the past, when Tim had been asked about the Tate situation, he kind of flip-flopped even in light of overwhelming evidence, and it looks like he's planning on doing that again this time. Take a look.
On Joe's show, and I was there, and I hit up the Tates, and I said, you have any recs, any recommendations? And they go, we know exactly who you are. We'll pick you up from the airport. And they did, and they came in their Rolls Royces, and they truly were. Now, I know they're accused of rape and human trafficking, whatever, but let me just say my piece first, and then I'll get to that. They were truly lovely. We had a lovely meal. We went to their home. We did a podcast. They were lovely people. Am I saying they're pure of spirit? I don't know. I'm just saying my personal experience with them. They're accused of choking women sometimes until they passed out, then raping them. Again, not good. That's from the New York Times. My producer highlighting that. I understand that. I'm getting to that, and I appreciate you highlighting that as I talk about how lovely our dinner was. Thank you very much for doing that. We are against that here at the Tim Dillon Show, choking women until they pass out and then raping them. Obviously wrong. We get it. We know it. Not for it. Have never been for it. I witnessed none of that in Romania. One of their girlfriends was there. I think her name was Baby G or something, and she was a little quiet. Some of the women with them were quiet. That's what I will say. Some of the women there were quiet. They were not offering loud opinions. A little nice, but it was very, I don't know. They didn't seem like victims to me. Was there an arrangement? Were they working a little bit? Hey, sure. But by the way, life is an arrangement.
Right out the gate, it's incredibly disappointing to see any man in 2026 frame things as if we aren't certain about crimes, when there is a profound number of women who have made these accusations against Andrew Tate. That is the proof of these crimes, that these women exist. Period. Not what happens in court. That is about punishment. These women have made these accusations, and unless they admit under oath while not under duress that they made them up, we will believe them, Tim. Every single time. He's doing the opposite of believe all women, and it revolts me down to my bones. Not that I'm surprised when Tim sides with men, as he's incredibly misogynistic, and plus, most gay men hate women. Fight me in the comments if you disagree. What bothers me most about this is how, while I know Tim is being hyperbolic to a degree and kind of tongue-in-cheek, he is still proving why sex trafficking is alive and well today and why people get away with it so easily. Because Tim is using his anecdotal evidence to disprove the words of other women. He's implying in the past, that if the Tate brothers Tim had been asked about the Tate situation, the other stuff about them trafficking women, even in light of overwhelming evidence, this is a cognitive bias on doing that again this time. Effect. Take a look. Whereby a good personal experience with someone makes you think they are incapable of doing bad things. It is 100% wrong and foolish. He's also committing a logical fallacy called the anecdotal fallacy by arguing that he didn't see anything criminal, so nothing criminal must have been happening with Tate. And he's trying to use a personal story to disprove a larger pattern of behavior of Tate, when one thing has nothing to do with the other. Tim always allows himself to be blinded by anyone he's spent time with, and that's why no one trusts him anymore, and why we never will again. You're compromised for life once you can go for a dinner with J.D. Vance or Ivanka Trump, I'm sorry. But in any case, Tate has been no exception since Tim Dillon went to visit Romania and spent time with him while there. There are clips going back years of Tim similarly defending Tate just because he liked him. The irony is that when Tim does point out what were obvious signs of sex trafficking he witnessed around Andrew Tate, he fails to use that anecdotal evidence to believe the accusations against Tate. Which further proves Tim only believes what he wants to believe and based on his personal friendships, regardless of people's actual guilt. Take a look at him discussing his visit to Romania on the Joe Rogan Experience where, while defending Andrew Tate, he simultaneously admits to witnessing what are obvious signs of sex trafficking around him.
There's been people like that have been sex trafficking forever.
Yes.
But it's shocking to people that it's going on now. They're like, what? Still?
But there is sex trafficking for sure. But there's also like, I was in Romania. I did a Bitcoin guy brought me over there to do his birthday party.
Didn't you hang out with Andrew Tate over there?
I did. But they paid me a lot of money to do it. And then there was, there's only one person there to really interview, and it was Andrew Tate. So I went to his house, and he's a lovely guy. Here's the thing about him and his brother. They are lovely people, whether they're human traffickers or not. They're lovely people. I'm not for human trafficking, but they took us out for a steak dinner, and there was women there, and a lot of the women were quiet. And I thought they were just quiet. That would be my story. If I'm called to testify, I would go, the women were quiet and they were obedient and many of them looked at the floor. But
really?
Yeah, but it's Eastern Europe, Joe.
Right.
That's kind of the way they act. And coming from America, it was a little bit of a nice change of pace.
We stunned.
No, I mean, coming from, it was nice.
Were you stunned when he got arrested?
It wasn't stunning. It wasn't like when eventually I smoke another cigarette, would I be stunned that I have a cigarette in my hand? No, I wasn't stunned that he got arrested. It was surprising to me because, listen, people say things about somebody and you hope that they're not true, right? Because he has some wacky opinions, but he has some opinions that I would say are probably, pretty reasonable.
And interesting.
So you can see Tim Dillon doesn't give a fuck about women. These women were clearly victims with all the telltale signs: no eye contact, no interacting, no expressiveness, no confidence, no communication. Every sign was there, and Tim ignores all that just to side with the traffickers because they were nice to him. Then I think about Tim defending Andrew Tate way back in the day on the H383 podcast where Hila repeatedly tried to tell him that the trafficking allegations were concrete against Tate and where Tim was a coward over and over again. Take a look.
What is he saying that is...
There's a video of him beating, but...
He's saying stuff like that women are the property of their boyfriend or husband, whatever it is. He's saying is...
Okay, which I disagree with, clearly. That being said, is when he is saying that... Are we going to ban every religious person on YouTube that says something that's very similar to that, right?
So
No.
I think ultimately what he advocates is for violence against women.
Yes.
Okay, so I've seen no...
He's
I've
pro,
seen no
like,
proof
keeping
of
your
that.
woman in check.
Okay.
He has videos of him saying, like, if I catch my woman cheating... I think you saw that.
Well,
You referenced it.
Well, I
If
think...
you take into context also that he's done sex trafficking, does it change your opinion?
Well, listen, 100% if he's doing sex trafficking, well,
He
then
is.
that's...
He is.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, if that needs to be handled by authorities. I mean,
It
that's
is.
beyond the scope of YouTube. Yeah, no,
Yeah, of course. And
Yeah,
like,
I mean, that's
the
not-
embassy got reported. He
No, so what do you think? I'm going to be like, well, that's not a big
No,
deal.
but like
Yeah.
even if you think that maybe
Yeah.
that video was just trolling,
Yeah.
like knowing the full scope of who the guy
if
is kind of puts
he's
it in.
doing that,
Here's
right?
my
Yeah.
take, right?
It's 100% not. It's a he needs
That's
to
a legal
be-
issue. It's not a sensitive
Oh
issue.
yeah.
So here's
Any person who says, "Where is the evidence?" or "Why haven't they been arrested?" is evil if that's their response to hearing these genuine victim stories. There is nothing more cowardly than hiding behind, "Well, if he is guilty, I hope he gets arrested." These women have told you already that he's guilty, so that means he's guilty. What the fuck are you waiting for, pussy? I don't think the million credible victims of Andrew Tate are lying, and real men have always believed them. Period. Forget about the fact that Andrew Tate for years and years and years admitted to being a sex trafficker and taught everyone on the internet how to do it. Nope, he must be innocent because Tim liked hanging out with him. He's almost too stupid. Tim is even willing to admit that Hustler University is a bad idea before he is willing to accept and renounce trafficking. Forgive me, God, but fuck you, you fucking maggot, Tim. Let's finish up this clip from the Tim Dillon show where Tim tries to sidestep the Andrew Tate allegations again, this time by making Tate the victim of malicious and unfair targeting.
These are okay things. So what I'm saying here is that we are against choking women until they pass out, and then we can't keep doing that with that word because we'll be out of this algorithm. So we're against all of that, and if that happened, that is unequivocally unacceptable, and I have no reason to believe it didn't happen. I didn't see it with my own eyes. I don't know what's going on. They've taken a lot of controversial stances and made a lot of people unhappy, and they've made a lot of enemies. But also, they live a weird life, and they live together in one house in Romania, and God only knows what's going on. And they are very open about the idea that they kind of like a harem. They're like a bunch of different women there, and, you know, women are kind of, in their mind, women are more property than they are people. So they have been arrested. But again, so let me just go back to my experience with them, which was very, very cordial and nice. And I thought they were respectful and and dignified. And I don't like hearing about the choking and the you-know-whating. That's not for me. So let's watch a little bit of that. They're facing new UK charges, and they got them on a bunch of charges. They got them on all kinds of things. Let's take a look here.
Tonight, Andrew and Tristan Tate are behind bars in Miami, waiting for their possible extradition to the UK.
Who's that guy with that hat? That fedora?
That's his brother.
Wait, hold on. Oh, yeah? Go back. Oh, okay.
UK.
Tristan, anything to say?
U.S. Marshals arresting the controversial social media influencers in Florida this weekend as prosecutors in the United Kingdom announced a slew of...
By the way, let's stop this for a minute. And again, I'm not defending them at all. These seemingly are the only human traffickers we want to arrest. Like, these are the only people in our society trafficking that we seem to care about, by the way. There's nobody in Washington, not a member of the political class, none of our billionaires who've all been like, a lot of them have been credibly accused. I'm not defending the Tates at all. I am saying, though, they do seem like the only people involved in this particular crime that we have a huge interest in apprehending.
While I agree they should be going after trafficking everywhere, that doesn't mean they should go after Andrew Tate any less. This is another logical fallacy called whataboutism, where someone tries to deflect an accusation against one person by saying authorities aren't stopping anyone else. Even if they are targeting Andrew Tate on purpose, why the fuck do you care, Tim? You little psychopath. Tate is guilty, and you know he is, so why don't you want them penalizing him, stalking him, and harassing him? Because you're a victim blamer who hates women, just like your friend Dodo Rogan. Maybe all these governments are targeting Andrew Tate because he's the only trafficker in their collective who's getting loud about it on the internet. Maybe other traffickers don't like it when you talk openly about how to do it. So maybe the fact that he's the only sex trafficker facing any criminal charges in the world shows that it's worldwide and he's just the only one dumb enough to not get away with it. Tate has been loud about it like a mentally challenged pedo. He's guilty and now he's paying the price. But guilt or innocence isn't what's at question here. And when you say it is, you're a liar and a piece of shit, and you need to know that. Fortunately, Tim already knows he's a piece of shit, so we can all get along with it, as he will still make me laugh from time to time. The point I'm trying to make is that Tim has always been an Andrew Tate supporter and defender, and he's always been against women. I don't think any amount of evidence would help him to acknowledge the truth because of his cognitive biases from having spent time with the Tates. I wish he would take the time to read about the charges against Andrew Tate instead of trying to blame the whole thing on scapegoating, basically. But whatever, at least Tim very vaguely agreed that sex trafficking and grape are wrong. So there's that, I guess. Do better, Tim, because you're a grown man, and it's silly to use the argument that how you're treated by someone is representative of how they would treat someone else behind closed doors. Especially when you've only met the person yourself under very positive circumstances, in an environment completely controlled by them. And especially when you've never been in a relationship with them, or spent time with them off camera. And even more especially when they themselves have admitted to the crimes on camera that they're now getting charged for. Props to Tim's producer, who clearly pointed out the hard facts for Tim when he wanted nothing more than to straight up defend sex traffickers. What do you think? Am I being too hard on Tim, or do you understand why I get so frustrated by how he handles the Andrew Tate stuff? Let me know, and thank you so much for watching.